Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's severe weather update. So, we have an enhanced risk of severe weather across portions of northern, central, and the southeastern Kansas today in the orange, and we have a slight risk surrounding that in the yellow, covering much of Kansas, southwestern Missouri, northern Oklahoma, as well as portions of eastern, central North Carolina, and southeastern Virginia in these yellow areas, and a marginal risk extending from the Dakotas through western southern Nebraska, central northeastern Colorado, into the eastern Texas Panhandle, northern Oklahoma, into portions of northern Arkansas, and southwestern Missouri. We also have a marginal risk across coastal southeastern Texas into southern Louisiana in this dark green area, and another marginal risk across much of South Carolina, central North Carolina, southeastern Virginia. So looking at today's tornado threat, we have a localized enhanced tornado threat today, where a 5% chance of tornadoes touching down within 25 miles of a location has been issued by the Storm Prediction Center just north of Wichita, Kansas. So if you live in this little corridor here, make sure you're paying close attention to the weather today, as we could be seeing a few spin-up tornadoes in the brown area today. Meanwhile, in the green area covering much of Kansas, northern Oklahoma, southwestern Missouri, including Colby, Wichita, and Springfield, we have the chance of an isolated tornado today. So make sure you're paying close attention to the weather, as you could be seeing an isolated tornado today if you live in this green area. Looking at the damaging wind threat today, we have a significant damaging wind threat across central and northern Kansas, where we have a 30% chance of damaging straight line winds of 58 miles per hour stronger within 25 miles of a location. In the red area, just east of Wichita, a 15% chance in the yellow areas, also a 15% chance across eastern North Carolina, southeastern Virginia, and a 5% wind risk in the brown today. And in this little hatched area around Wichita and areas north and northeast, we could be seeing some wind gusts going over 75 miles per hour today in this black hatched area. So make sure you're on guard for some numerous damaging wind gusts, especially across central eastern Kansas as we go through the day today. And looking at the large hail threat, we also have a significant large hail threat traversing across Kansas from northwest to southeast, where we have a 30% chance of quarter-sized hail or larger within 25 miles of a location in the red area, a 15% chance in the yellow, a 5% chance in the brown areas, as well as portions of southern Texas and Louisiana, the Carolinas and Virginia, and a 15% chance across northeastern North Carolina, southeastern Virginia, and then we have a large black hatched area today again, where these hailstones are beginning the golf ball, baseball, tennis ball, softball size. So if you live in this black hatched corridor, make sure you're parking your cars in the garage today, as we're going to be seeing some very large hailstones falling across this black hatched area. Now timing out the storms across Kansas, looking at the 12Z run of the HRRR model, we have a cluster of strong storms across southwest Nebraska, northern Kansas this morning, creating some damaging winds and large hail already. And as we go through the morning, around 11 o'clock, the storms are going to start to push southeast into Kansas, and this is where we're going to be seeing our very large hail and wind threat. As we go into noon, we could be seeing a gorilla hail threat materialize across north central Kansas with very strong damaging winds. Could be seeing wind-driven large hail between 12 and 1 o'clock p.m. Central Daylight Time. As we go into 2 o'clock, this very intense small cluster of storms is going to push southeast into north central Kansas. And then as we go into 4 o'clock, we could be seeing an additional back-building storm producing more gorilla hail and near hurricane force wind gusts in north central Kansas. Going into 5 o'clock, this cluster of very intense storms will push into central and northeastern Kansas. Going into 5 o'clock, And 6 o'clock, the storms will continue to push southeast, approaching the Wichita, Kansas area by around 7 p.m. this evening, and Kansas City as well. Although I think most of the intense thunderstorms, the large hail, the damaging winds should stay to the southwest of Kansas City. But make sure you're watching out anyway in case the storms shift a little bit to the east. And then going into a 10, 11 o'clock, the storms will begin to weaken as we lose the daytime heating and move into northeastern Oklahoma, southwest Missouri. But we could see a little bit of a flare up even during the overnight hours across northeastern Kansas, south central Nebraska between around midnight and about 5 a.m. We have a significant flooding threat to talk about as well. We have a moderate risk of excessive flooding rainfall across southeastern Texas in the red, including the Houston area and Bryan College Station, Beaumont, a slight risk across central and southeast Texas and southwest Louisiana, as well as Nebraska, south central Nebraska through Kansas. So flooding is going to be a problem today as well, especially across the yellow and red areas, and a marginal risk covering much of the plains into Missouri, northern Arkansas, much of central North Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi in the dark green. So make sure you're preparing for pretty significant flooding today, I would say. If you live across areas like Bryan College Station, Houston, Beaumont, and other areas of southeastern Texas, we have a moderate risk in place today. Thanks for watching today's severe weather update. Make sure you're preparing for uh, very large hail damaging winds and a couple of tornadoes if you live across, especially from north central through southeastern Kansas City. Thanks for watching today's severe weather update. Stay safe and have a wonderful day, my friends.